Hi everybody, I think that we are ready to get started. It is right at the top of the hour. I know we'll have some people joining us late, but I really tried very hard to keep you guys at 1 hour because I know that all of you have a life to live. So let's go ahead and get you guys going. I want to introduce you guys to why you need an email list and 20 easy ways to build one. The fun thing about today is that joining us on the call is actually my marketing expert that works for me full-time, Candace. And so the other voice that you're going to hear is actually Candace. Candace has done a phenomenal job with my business and certainly has been able to figure out the chef world and all of the quirky natures of chefs and all of our ADD entrepreneurial tendencies. So she's going to give you guys some valuable content today. Just so you know that you're going to have about 50 minutes of instruction and about 10 minutes for Q&A at the end. Just keep in mind that there is a box on your screen specifically for questions. Please put all of your questions in that box so that we can respond to them toward the end. And this is definitely being recorded. And since it's being recorded, we will make sure that we send all of those out. So you are definitely in the right place. And I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to be on this call and for taking this time for your business. Who is this for? I know that I work with culinary business owners and chefs across the country, and I was on the phone with about 3 of them today in different areas of the country. And as chefs, we really end up being alone a lot. Either no one understands us, or we're literally working alone in a client's kitchen, or we're the head of our own business, and it gets to be a really lonely world. Well, I know that culinary business owners and chefs get really tired of not making the money that they deserve and trying to figure it out on their set, all on their own. And this is just one example of what we're doing to really help chefs across the country to get out of that place of kind of spinning in circles. A little bit about me. I've been in culinary for 15 years. I've had 5 very successful businesses. I actually have 2 companies right now. I have Savor Culinary Services and I have ChefDeb.com. Savor Culinary Services is all about culinary medicine. About 2 years ago, I set out to break the $500,000 mark in business, and I did what it took to make that, and last year I exceeded that by about $70,000. I have a lot of work into this, and I want to share it all with you guys. Last year I was named Chef of the Year by the USPCA, United States Personal Chef Association, which is a huge honor. Also wrote a #1 best-selling book last year called You're a Chef, Now What? And Mastering Your Money and Your Mindset and Your Reputation. Through those 15 years that I told you guys about, I've owned 7 commercial kitchens, and I've done just about everything in culinary you can possibly imagine, which means I've made a ton of mistakes. And hopefully you guys will not make those same mistakes, is the reason why these webinars and my coaching programs were created. Currently at Savor, we cook for, that's actually gone up somewhere between 25 and 30 clients a week. From a personal chef perspective, we have about 2 to 3 caterings a week, and actually have another company that involves juice cleanses as well. And I currently have about a staff of 6. So who we help? The coaching programs as well as the webinars, as I mentioned before, are for culinary professionals all over the U.S. and even Canada now, because we have lots of interest. So I guess you can say that these coaching programs and these webinars are almost worldwide or international at this point. We really do things with these webinars to really help chefs grow their culinary business. We're kind of unique ducks of a feather whenever it comes to chefs and culinary and trying to figure out the world of business as a whole. I know a lot of chefs out there have really great food concepts, but you just need help building your dream and really from start to finish. But the thing is really how to do food your way. How to make money in your sleep. Really develop the intellectual property in your head. Because all of you guys have big dreams and big goals and big wishes, and know that you're just on the tip of doing something great, but you just don't know how to get there. Or maybe you guys are tired of working for other people. Like I said, I've experienced all my own successes and failures. Certainly understand the culinary industry because, like I said, I have done just about everything in culinary you can imagine. I believe in coaching wholeheartedly. I have spent, I should probably say, tens of thousands of dollars on business coaching to really help turn all of my passions into profits. Totally care about your success. I've said all along that you were born for a specific reason at a specific time in a specific place. And that is because your particular unique talents and gifts need to be brought forth into the world. What I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to turn everything over to Candace, who is also on the line, and she is going to give the presentation. I will be adding tidbits of information here and there, and then again, I want to remind you guys to please make sure to put any questions that you have as we go along in the questions box, and we're going to turn it over to Candace.
Thank you, Deb. I'm so excited to be on the call with you guys today. As you know, I'm Deb's marketing and PR manager, and I deal with all of our email marketing. And so I'm excited to share some of our list building secrets we have and kind of how we nurture our list to get more sales. Because I know many of you guys don't have a brick and mortar, and a lot of us have just online businesses, and we rely on getting sales through emails and virtual means. So I want to reassure you today that email marketing is not dead. 85% of people who use the internet have an email address, and 34% of Americans actually check their emails throughout their day. So it's still a very relevant way to reach people, and so I just wanted to let you guys know that it's still a great way. And email is proving to be more valuable than even some of our search and paid ads. So if you do Facebook ads or Google ads, according to a study by Litmus, they actually have email has a better value per dollar, which basically just means it's cheaper. Obviously, it's free besides paying for the email system you use, but it's cheaper to actually convert people and sell them that way. So it's actually very valuable. And I wanted to point out that social media, you might think that's kind of the way of the future, which it's a great way to communicate, but it's actually not the best way to reach an audience who actually cares about your products. People on your email list are those who actually do care. Social media is always kind of a hit or miss. So first of all, I just kind of want to talk about what kind of list we will be discussing. This is the very basics. I'm sure most of you know, you already have an email list. But I'm not talking about a grocery list or anything like that, but this email list is something you acquire offline or online, and I'll kind of get into that. But it's basically just names and email addresses you store in your email system, but it could also include things like where they're from, how did you acquire them on your list, and those are all helpful things to know. And if you get nothing else from this webinar, I hope that you remember that your email list is gold. And what I mean by that is it's easier to sell to current clients or people you know than to acquire new ones. And that's why it's so important to not let your email list gather dust, but to view it as a really valuable source that can provide you more income. So I wanted to just go over what kind of people you would find on an email list. And these could be people who purchase your product or services, people who specifically signed up either through your website or your opt-in, or it could even be people you met at a networking event. Now, I do want to point out that people who you met at a network event, they have to give express consent to be on your list. Otherwise, it's just considered spam. So make sure that, they've said, can you add me to your list, or I'd love to receive emails from you before you just add them, even if they give you a business card. So that's just something to keep in mind. And I wanted to briefly share a few different email systems. I'm sure many of you already have one, but if you don't, here are some to consider. Deb and I, we use Infusionsoft. It's kind of the more expensive option, but it has a lot of automation abilities, and I'll kind of explain that later. But MailChimp, Benchmark, and Vertical Response are all free up to a certain extent. So if you have under like 2,000 contacts, it's free. And you can sell, or you can kind of send up to so many emails. So it's really great, and I've heard MailChimp is wonderful because the emails, the design is really well. You can create really good looking emails and it's free. So these are all email systems you can look into yourself and kind of see what's the best fit. They each have kind of a unique thing that they offer. So I would just encourage you guys to research that and see which one fits your needs as a business. So the reason why we wanted to do a webinar on list building is because your list is actually shrinking by about 30% each year. That might come as a shock to you, but the reason why your email list is shrinking is because people are either opting out, they don't want to receive your emails anymore, or their email addresses are outdated and old. Maybe they have a new email address now, or they've been on your list for years and they no longer check that one. Or maybe they've even reported your emails as spam. There's multiple reasons why your email list is shrinking, but just know that it is. And that is the reason why you need to constantly be building your email list. So I wanted to share 20 easy ways you can build your list, and I promise these will be easy. Some of them might be a little bit advanced, but I promise that even if you get a virtual assistant to help you, they can get it done in about 5 minutes. So these are great ways that have worked for us. So this first way is really just adding your family and friends to the list. Okay, your mom's going to be your biggest fan, and often, your friends and family are your number one supporters and are often sometimes your first customers. So feel free to add them to your list if they're okay receiving marketing stuff, and they know people and their friends know people. That's always a great place to start. All right, another way we add people to our list is phone calls. If someone calls our business and asks, inquires about one of our services, we ask them, would you like to receive more information about this? And we'll just add their name and email, jot it down, and then add it to our email system. So that's an easy way to acquire some more people on your list. This is a fun way that I like to do it. Teaming up with another business. What we do is, for Savor, we team up with a law firm, and about every 6 months we do this Wine Women and Wills event where we cater their event, and they're kind of older, more affluent women who come to this, and it's exactly our target market. And what we do is we exchange email lists, and we're able to, get new contacts. And this is definitely a great way because other businesses obviously have long email lists that you could benefit from. But before you do a joint venture and exchange lists, you really want to make sure that you have the exact same target. What age group do they do? What, is it male or female? What cars do they drive? What's their income level? You really want to make sure that they are aligned with yours, or else otherwise it's just going to be, a list that won't really end up being beneficial to you. All right, another way that I love is adding a sign-up button on Facebook. Now, this might sound a little bit complicated, but it's actually really easy. And I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but just the sign-up button that lives on your cover photo. And I wanted to show you real quick how to do it. 3 simple steps. All you have to do is go to your page's cover photo and click Create Call to Action. And then you choose your call to action. It'll have a little drop-down menu. And then you just enter the URL, or in this case, you'd enter the URL to, let's say, your opt-in. And then you'd click Create. It's as easy as that. And that way people can just click on the button and go directly to your opt-in and enter their name and email, and they're on your list. And kind of going along with that, another great way, I don't know if you guys utilize your Facebook cover photos, but you really should have fun with these cover photos, because You can customize them to whatever, time of year. If there's a holiday promotion, put that as your Facebook cover. Maybe every 3 months you can put your opt-in. Maybe you're giving away, a fruit and vegetable guide, and you could, make a cover that kind of goes along with that. And what I love about Wishpond's Facebook cover is they have a little arrow, and you could put the arrow right above the sign up button. That way it draws people's attention to it, and it's just a great way to utilize it, and it's free. All right, you might not have thought of using Facebook ads to build your list, but Refinery29 actually does a great job of building their list to their Facebook ads. All they do is they just put an image of, an opt-in that they're giving away or something that represents what they offer to their email list. All you have to do is include a link and a picture, and that's pretty much it. Pretty simple. And you could even take it to send them to a landing page for your opt-in. Now these do cost money, but you do set your own budget. You can spend, I think you have to spend at least $5 a day to do a Facebook ad, but it's relatively cheap, and as long as you target the right people on Facebook, then it's a great way to build your list. All right, this is one of my absolute favorite ways to build our list. I don't know about you, but we have a lot of food and wine festivals where we're from. And so we try and get involved in every kind of, culinary event that's out there. We try and show up and be there. So besides bringing delicious food for people to sample, we always do a fishbowl giveaway. And the reason why we do is because while it's nice that people get to try our food and get a feel for who we are, we'd really love to be able to capture their info. And so a fishbowl giveaway is a great way to do this. And what we do is we just get a little slip of paper with our logo and then just have a name, a line with their name, and a line with an email for them to fill out. And they just fill it out and put it in the fishbowl. And what we usually give away is 5 customized meals and 2 servings. So you want to incentivize them to, give away their information and make it worth their while. And this has always been a great way for us to build our list. Depending on the size of the event, we get about 40 to 50 new contacts each time. So it's a great way to get people who are interested in. And then I suggest selecting the winner as, someone who you think would actually continue using your services. And then, they'll let their friends know about it too. All right. This may not seem like the most conventional way to build your list, but if you can add share buttons in your emails, that would improve your list building a lot and you can actually do this in your email system really simply. It's usually just a drag and drop. If you need help, please ask your virtual assistant or even your web service provider or your email service provider. And all you do is just add share buttons to Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest, just so people can share it with their friends. Now, if you do add the share buttons, make sure you have an option for people to subscribe if you're sending out like a newsletter. And you know how they have a little unsubscribe button at the bottom? Well, make sure you put a subscribe button. And that's really simple to do. That way they can have the chance to be on your list. And you hardly did the work. All you did was add buttons to it. All right, I know many of you probably do cooking classes. Or if you're like Deb, you engage in a lot of speaking events. And so if you're doing a cooking class, maybe after the class you can, send out a little clipboard with a place for them to put their names and emails if they'd be interested in future cooking classes or if they'd like to know what other classes you offer. This is a great way to capture the info because they're people who are actually, a client. And then speaking events, you can do the same type of thing at your vendor tables. Give people an opportunity, just have a clipboard ready with places to put their name and email, and it's that simple. All right, we're obviously doing a webinar, and this has been a great way for us to build our list. We usually get about 100 new contacts or so with each webinar, which is phenomenal. And everyone really wants to get free information. They want to learn more. And webinars are a hot new way to build your list. And it's a way that many business owners are adding people to their contact list. we've had definitely a lot of leads come from this, and it's been a great source for us. So you might consider doing a webinar that would be related to what you do in business. And I will say that it does matter the emails you send before the webinar and the emails you send afterward, whether or not this will work in your favor. All right, this is also a really easy way that I love to do. So you can just add a button to the end of your blog posts that allow people to opt in. And all you have to do, I just put hungry for more, get more healthy tips, recipes, and delicious deals. And then I created a little button that they can just click, and it takes them directly to the opt-in. Isn't that cool? And the reason why this is so effective is because if people are reading your blog post and they've gotten to the end, they've scrolled all the way down, that means they're really engaged and they like your content. So most likely, they're going to want to sign up for your newsletter and get more information. So I would suggest putting a button in all of your blog posts, or at least a link if you're not sure how to put a button in. All right, we do a lot of YouTube videos, and a great way to build your list through this is by adding a link. You can just put, click here to join our newsletter, click here to get more healthy recipes, and it takes them also directly to your opt-in. This does require some technical skill. It's not too difficult, and ironically, there's actually a lot of YouTube videos on how to do this. So you can just Google them. I have a really good video that I could send out to you guys, and it'll show you step by step how to add a link to your YouTube videos. Because I know as chefs, YouTube videos are great for you because you can do cooking demos, you can share recipes, cooking classes, whatever you want on there. But make sure you have a link where they can find more information and take action.
Hey, Candace, I wanted to say something real quick.
Sure.
Okay. Candace mentioned a couple of different times to you guys about having your VA help you. For those of you guys that don't know, a VA is a virtual assistant. And so it's basically a contract person that works for you on kind of an as-needed basis in order to do certain tasks in your business. So maybe you are not big enough, or you don't have the money yet to pay an actual admin person or office assistant. There are VAs all over the country that will help you with only certain tasks in your business. And then those also can be found on websites like Fiverr. .com, and then there's some people that have actual just VA businesses. That's all they do. So just wanted to explain that real quick.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. I'm glad you took the time to explain that. Hopefully that didn't confuse anyone. So another way you can build your list is by adding a link to your email signature. Ystamp is a great website where you can create a really nice looking signature that goes out in your emails, and it could look something like this. And you can really put any link or information that you want in it. And so why not use your signature as a way to get people to sign up on your newsletter? So like this guy, just include a link right there. You send emails multiple times a day, so people are bound to see it. And I think it's a great and easy way to do it. And also, you could put a link to your latest blog post. And if your blog post has a button for them to sign up, that works as well. Whatever you prefer. Whatever you think would draw more people to click on it. All right, this is a really fun way that we've done. I'm even going to have you guys experiment and try it out and kind of see it working in action. But you can actually do a text to join your list. So if you are doing a speaking engagement at a conference or club or group or whatever it might be, you can have, tell the audience to text a certain word to a number, and it will add them directly to their list. And I'll show you how it works. So if you want to see it working, you can text the word culinary to 33444, and you'll see kind of the conversation that it has and how the process works. And it basically just says reply with your email, and then it sends you the email with the freebie. And speaking of the freebie, if you guys text that number, you'll get our Culinary Success Toolkit that Deb uses. It has a lot of the resources that have helped her grow her business. So feel free to text that number, get a feel for how it works, It's a great way, and it's really easy. It's something that can be set up kind of on the back end of your email system. Again, I would have someone help you with this. This is a little bit more technical than the other ways I've shown you how to build your list, but it's a great one for any speaking engagements you do. And I think it's better than passing around a clipboard. And you'll definitely impress people with how technical it is. All right, another way is Pinterest. You might just be pinning pictures of your food, which is great because Pinterest is made for chefs. But have you considered posting a picture of your opt-in or maybe a screenshot of the landing page of your opt-in? Kate Spade, I love this example because they're just telling them, I love it because it's a pin, but it looks like their website. And I just think that's really neat. And then as you see that there's a button that can send them directly there as well. So make sure if you have a Pinterest board, be pinning your opt-ins. Make sure you have an engaging photo that'll make people want to click on it, and that represents what information you're giving away. But Pinterest is a great way. And I will warn you that Pinterest is kind of funny. I don't know if you guys have heard of Bitly links, but they're just shortened links. You don't have those big long ones. If you do post a Bitly link of your opt-in, it will mark it as spam and it won't let you. So just make sure you do the full link and you should be good to go.
Candace?
Yeah.
Could you tell them real quick what a Bitly link is and where they go to do it? Not the technical, just explain a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad that Bitly links are great because they basically, if you want to share a link on Facebook or Instagram, a lot of the links are just so long. So if you go to bit.ly.com, you can just copy and paste a long URL and hit create bitlink, and it'll shorten it for you. You can just copy and paste that shorter link. So it's a great resource. I use it all the time on social media. I definitely recommend it. But with Pinterest, they don't like Bitly links. So just a warning, something to be aware of. All right. If you have a facts page on your website, why not use that as a way to post a link to your opt-in? Because people are going there to get more information. They're obviously curious about your services. And so kind of fit it in where it makes sense, but definitely include a link there. I'm sure many of you have seen this option. If you're going to check out and you're filling out your information when you've ordered something, a lot of order forms actually have a box that you can check to sign up for their monthly newsletter, which I think is brilliant. Now, I would make it more fun than just saying sign up for a monthly newsletter because Deb talks a lot about how, no one really wants to sign up for another newsletter because they just kind of see it as spam. So I would suggest making it fun, kind of telling them what they're going to get, make it sound appealing and almost irresistible that they'll want to check that box. Another way is you can do an online survey. We use SurveyMonkey. You just go to surveymonkey.com. It's free surveys, and you can do up to 10 questions, and you can actually post them on Facebook. So if you post the survey on Facebook, you could have one of the questions be, would you like to join our list and get more information, or however you want to word it so it's appealing. But why not add that to your survey as well? So I love this quote. So pop-ups, I'm sure you've seen them. If you've gone to our website or the Chef Deb website, you've seen a pop-up. And they're basically an opt-in where people go, they get free information, and they put their name and email in. A lot of people kind of debate whether or not they like pop-ups because some people view it as annoying. I'm sure you've been on those websites where you can't get rid of it. It's just on the screen and you can't find a way to get out of it. It's really frustrating. But Hunter Boyle said, pop-ups, you either love them or hate them, but they still pull in big crowds. And statistically, they do. You get more opt-ins with pop-ups because they're more invasive. But I would suggest, putting a delay, 5 or 8 second delay on them, making sure they're not too annoying. Again, your person who designs your website can help you with this. This isn't something you have to do. And when you are thinking of a opt-in that you want to do, think of how you can save someone time, save them money, or relieve a pain point in some way. This is our opt-in. We do a how to get instant clients guide, and that's just something that chefs always want more clients, right? So that's appealing. So you want to be able to do something that will really appeal to them, and that won't take too much of your time because it is free, but that is valuable. You could also do, if you're not a huge fan of pop-ups, you could do a feature box. It's basically just a way for them to subscribe, either the top of your website or at the bottom. And the best place to put them is usually at the top, like this, if you decide to do it, where it's really visible, has an arrow and everything, or just at the footer toward the bottom, just kind of right here. So you can choose to do that. They don't perform as well as pop-ups, but some people like them and they have had success. So it's completely up to you and what you want to do. So I've been talking a lot about opt-ins and kind of mentioned some that you can do, but you can really do whatever you want. It could be a short video of you teaching how to do something or teaching a recipe. It could be, maybe offering them a discount upon opting in, or an ebook. We offer, an ultimate salad guide to those who opt into Savor, or we have an A to Z guide on how to fix it with food. So really think of something that would be meaningful to your audience and put that together in a PDF or video format, and you'll be good to go. So now that I've talked about 20 ways to kind of build your list, your head's probably spinning a little bit, but once you have your email list, I wanted to show you some emails or things you could do to help kind of nurture them real quick. Something you want to do with your list is segment them. So you don't want to just send an email out to everybody on your list about your personal chef services. You want to categorize them. So if one person's really into catering, or they're really into your juice cleanse or your personal chef or your cooking classes, then send emails to just those people. Those kind of emails tend to get clicked through a lot more than ones that are just sent to everyone, if that makes sense, because it's stuff they're actually interested in. And when people opt into, on your website, they put their name and email, they opt in, you want to treat new subscribers differently than your old ones. And I think a lot of chefs forget about this. We kind of, we just look at, oh, we got a new opt-in, this is great, but then we don't know what to do with them. So I'm going to show you what you can do. You can create a little welcome email series for people who opt in. And you can have about 4 emails or however many you feel comfortable with. And one email can be, just a welcome. Tell them about yourself, kind of why you started your business. Tell them more about your company. You could have one that answers, a lot of questions that you get asked about it. And then the third one could be maybe sharing your favorite recipe or giving a freebie away to show that you care about them. And the fourth email could be a promo to kind of upsell them. Like we usually offer them an additional meal for their first chef service. So this is a great example of a welcome series to help kind of nurture your new subscribers and let them know that you care. So you might be wondering why you need to nurture your list. Maybe you've never even heard the word nurture your list. But we do this because we want to, facilitate relationships with our clients and potential clients. And these days, you really have to develop a relationship, and people need to trust you before they buy. It's a great way to share promos or offers. If you're having, a discount on something or some kind of promotional offer, it's a great way to communicate with them. And I would suggest, putting together a little holiday calendar. We gave this away at our last webinar, and this just kind of helps give you a guide for just what the seasons are and how you could tie that into some promotional offers you do. So just make note of, the holidays around you and what's going on and tie it in somehow. Now, you don't have to do a promo for every single holiday that exists, because I guarantee there's a national day for every kind of food that there is. But choose what makes sense to you and what you really want to focus on, because it does take effort. Also, nurturing your list allows you to upsell them, which is a great opportunity and a very missed opportunity if you don't nurture them. So McDonald's phrase, would you like fries with that? That's earned them over $200 million just by asking that question. Isn't that crazy? But I love it because all they did is they simply gave them an option to add something to their order. So be thinking of maybe what your clients would be interested in buying as well. What makes sense to go along with your service or your product? Because you could definitely have an opportunity to upsell those who are already clients. So newsletters are a great way to nurture your list. They offer kind of a consistent way that they can always rely on. We always send out our newsletters once a month, usually like the second Sunday of the month. And with the newsletters, we just kind of offer company updates, special offers, we do recipes, we kind of do a whole plethora of different things. And I just wanted to suggest different ways you can improve your newsletters, because newsletters are kind of dying a little bit if you don't know how to do them right. So my first suggestion is using a creative subject line. Don't just put, Savers Monthly Newsletter, whatever it might be. Do something that'll capture their attention. I love this one that says, warning, this email is red hot, or the biggest opening so far this year, ... It leaves you wondering. So before you send, your newsletter, ask yourself, would this subject line make me want to open it? And yes, so that's really something to focus on because the subject line matters a lot. And these are some words to avoid in your subject line, like please read, free, reminder, help, marketing, or really prominent call to actions, because that comes off very salesy and people don't like that. And you'll tend to go into the spam filter in people's junk mail. That's just kind of a guideline for you. Also, another way you can improve your newsletters is to make them more exclusive. Offer people a sneak peek at something. Give them a first look at something. Make the newsletter valuable in and of itself. Stuff that they can't find on your blogs or on your website. You want to give them a reason to subscribe, so make sure you're putting out good exclusive content there. And also, of course, use great imagery. You guys do food for a living, and food is beautiful, and why not use beautiful pictures of your food in your newsletters? And you want to break up large pieces of text with imagery to kind of keep people's attention, because we have short attention spans.
Candace, I want to say something real quick about imagery.
Sure.
Guys, be very careful on your imagery because it all matters a ton. Please, unless you have a professional food photographer taking pictures of the food that you made and plating it and food styling it, and then giving you all those high-res images to use with your marketing material, then please purchase high-res images to use from several of the stock photo sites. It will make a huge difference in your brand and how you look. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with chefs and looked at websites and didn't know if it was salmon or spaghetti because it will look amazing to you, but believe me, your clients are judging you based upon those pictures. But that is in marketing material that is going to represent you like your website whenever you are not there. It's something different though for Facebook posts and things like that on social media if you snap pictures of food and say, hey, look what I did. But if something is going to live forever and represent you, make sure it's the best quality picture you can actually do.
Yes, that's a great point, Deb. Pictures matter, especially when you're in the business of food. So, and also, if you guys don't want to spend a ton of money on stock photos, if you just Google an image and then in the images, you just go to labeled for reuse. Those are all free images to use. And I actually get some images there. And it's free, and there's actually some good ones for food. So you can use that first, and then if you don't find them, go on those stock photo sites like Shutterstock. But definitely make it a priority to add great images to your website and your newsletters and emails. Also, I mentioned this before, but add share buttons to your newsletters. Allow them to share through email or through social media. Let word of mouth marketing, let that do the work for you. You want to make it easy for people to talk about you and share your content. Surveys are also a great way to nurture your list because you need to get feedback from them. Whether you need to get feedback for dates or an event you're doing, or maybe a cooking class you're planning, you want to know if people are interested. Surveys show that you care about them and about their opinion. So like I said, SurveyMonkey is a great way. You can just add a link to your emails and have them click on it. It takes them there, and then you get emailed the responses back. You can kind of see what people are saying. So surveys are definitely good to do once in a while. Also, asking for referrals. This might be a little bit scary for some of you. You may not want to ask people to, find you more clients, but it's a great way to nurture them and you also want to remind them kind of what you've done for them, how you've helped relieve a pain point. And then you also want to lay it out what kind of referrals you're looking for. Like maybe, do you have a friend, neighbor, colleague, someone who attends church with you who could benefit from our services? So make it easy for them. Don't make them do all the work for you to think of someone. Give them some ideas. And you're bound to get more clients through referrals. In fact, our business gets a lot of our sales through referrals. So it's an important thing to include in your email marketing. Also, you'll be sending out emails and newsletters that are kind of more impersonal, but personal emails go a long way. We'll send out specific announcements just to a select group on our email list saying, hey, we have room for more clients on this day of the week. These spots go fast, but I wanted to let you know about them. Let me know, reply to this email. So things like that, you could do something to that extent. Also,
Candace, I want to say something real quick about that last slide. Go back to that last slide for me. Oh, no, one more. The one you're on, this one. Guys, I wanted to let you know, you guys may have heard me say something like this before, and I know that some of the chefs that I coach in my Master and Private Chef are on the webinar now. But I created this quick, just 3-sentence blurb here. And this is my go-to, my number one, my gold thing that we are low on clients for some reason. I can send this out to my list and I can post this on Facebook, and I am usually guaranteed, well, not usually, I am guaranteed to usually get at least 1, if not 2 more clients instantly. It works like a charm. So you guys are going to get this recording, and feel free, I'm giving you permission to copy and paste this and use this blurb. It will work.
Yes, absolutely. Also sending I miss cooking food for you. If you have a client who stopped your services for a little while, reconnect with that old lead and let them know, school's starting again, kind of remind them of their pain point and how we can help you. We look forward to serving you, something like that, because that also shows you care and it's a lot more personal. Also, just thanking them. If you have people who send a lot of referrals your way, sending them an actual thank you note in the mail and an email speaks volumes. So reward them for sending you referrals by maybe offering them a discount on one of your products or services, or an extra dessert onto their meals. Something that shows that you really appreciate them spreading the word about your business. So some of you might be wondering, how often should I send emails? Because I just don't know. And there's really no right or wrong answer to this, but my rule of thumb is only send an email when you have something worth saying. You don't want to spam your list and just send out emails because you can, but send it when you really think that it's worthwhile. That's probably the best advice I could give you there. But Kissmetrics, they're a marketing firm. They have a little guideline. They say usually less than 4 emails a month usually have the highest click-through rate, which basically means people just clicked on your email and actually read it. So, that's about an email per week, maybe less than that. So use that as kind of a guideline. You don't want to be sending out 10 emails a month. That's kind of overwhelming. You start to ignore that in your inbox. And also, I thought this was really interesting that as soon as people opt in or subscribe to your newsletter, you have about 10 days for them to sign up after signing up that they'll have the highest click-through. So if you waited 10 days to send an email or later, they may not have you top of mind anymore. So that's why it's so important to have that welcome email series right when they sign up so that you don't lose their interest and that they kind of have an opportunity to learn more about you before they forget that they even opted in. Also, some of you might be wondering, well, what time of day do I send it? I have really low, open rates. There are some general guidelines out there, and I'd like to share those with you, but 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is actually usually the best time to reach people. Okay, they're just kind of starting their day. They haven't quite gotten into work yet. They check their personal emails, but from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. that's a complete dead zone because people are focused on work. They're trying to get stuff done before lunch. So in general, don't send emails during that time. Again, it totally depends on your audience. These are just general guidelines. And then 7 to 10 p.m., people tend to do shopping, and it's kind of more leisurely time after work. So that's when they're going to respond to promos the most. Again, really use your own analytics. Look at the reports on your email systems and see, are people opening stuff on Sundays at 4 o'clock? Is that a good time? Or, is no one opening that? So kind of look for a pattern. It might take you a couple months to see a pattern there, but make sure you're looking at those reports. They kind of help you know the best time to send them out. Also, I wanted to talk about split A/B testing. It's just kind of a fancy way of saying you just experiment and try new things. So what you can do is if you're having, issues, if people aren't really opening the emails and you're not getting good results, why don't you try changing some things, like maybe changing the time of day, or maybe changing the subject line to something more creative. Maybe, having a shorter email. Maybe your email's too long. Maybe the layout needs to be more clean and there's too much going on. Or maybe your call to action was too, salesy or something, or you don't have very good images. There's a lot of different factors you can change. So kind of experiment and see what works. A cool thing you can do with A/B testing is you could send out one type of email to like a, quarter of your group, and then a different email that maybe the images are different, maybe the copy's a little bit less, and send it to another group. And then you would look to see, okay, how many people open this one and how many people open the other one. And then you take a look at the one that has the most open rates or the highest open rates, and then you'd send that to the rest of the group. So I hope that makes sense, but basically you can send it to the other half of the group. It's a great way to kind of see what people respond to. It might sound complicated, but basically you're just changing small things in your email and testing them before you send it out to a bigger part of the group. Again, it's kind of more advanced. If you're just getting into email marketing and building your list, maybe don't worry about that now, but maybe down the road you can. And one last thing I wanted to talk about was house cleaning. What I mean by that is having people, or kind of getting rid of people who no longer open your emails. And this might sound counterintuitive for a list building webinar, but it's important to get rid of those people who, haven't opened the last 10 emails you've sent, or have been on your list for months but haven't taken any action. Most likely they're probably not going to take action. And so I would just send out an email that says, hey, we're cleaning out our, our list, we're doing some housekeeping. If you still want to receive these emails about blah, 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 click here, and basically you just have them opt in again. And that way you'll probably see your open rates get higher and more people will be engaged because you'll get the people who actually care about what you have to say. So I hope that makes sense, but I would do that every maybe 6 months to a year. And I just wanted to end by saying that just like you guys experiment with different recipes to see which ones work the best, what flavors jive together, email marketing and building your list is a lot like that because you really have to experiment and see what works. You might have some emails that don't perform very well and you don't get results, but you might have others that do really well. So just see what works for you and try implementing some of these things I've taught. And I wish you guys the best success with that. And Deb, I'll let you take it from here.
So guys, I know that, I love that picture, by the way, Candace. That's great for overwhelming. I want you guys to make sure that you type your questions in there because you guys will learn as much about the questions as you will about the webinar and that Candace went over. And Candace, just so you know, I can't see any of those questions since you're the presenter. So you're going to have to take a look at those. But I just wanted to tell you guys that working with different chefs, culinary business owners, the biggest thing that I see is chefs just, they don't have a tendency to plan well. That as business owners, we just kind of keep moving forward. We kind of put our head down, and then one day we look up and think, how in the world did we get here? So I know that as chefs and even as culinary business owners, we all need a strategic plan, and we actually kind of need to help get out of our own way, actually, and to almost develop a roadmap for your specific business. I know that that's the reason why a lot of you guys are here. I know a lot of you guys are in complete overwhelm, and I hear quite a bit from the chefs that I coach. Then I hear, how in the world am I supposed to get all of this done? And I am spinning in a circle, and I just don't know what the next step is to take. And I just want you to know that this is one of the reasons that we are here for you guys, and that it doesn't have to happen to you. I've been there. Believe me, I have figured out several ways, and so that you can get out of that overwhelm and that you don't have that problem anymore with that roadmap. It's all pretty much been done for you. I know that there's an example of Chef Sandra on the screen, and Chef Sandra came to me and her brand just was not working, her website was not working, and just her business as a whole was not working. We changed her name, we rebranded Chef Sandra, and man, she is a rock star now, and she is just living her true passion. You can see Chef Madeline on the screen. Chef Madeline was in my program for quite a long time, and Madeline was truly not living her true purpose and her true passion. And Madeline loves to have her clients experience the world through food, and we rebranded her, gave her a roadmap to success for that rebrand, and once we launched that, she just skyrocketed, and she's doing quite well. So guys, one of the roadmaps that we actually offer is something called eChef Club. I see several of you guys on the call that are in eChef, and several of you guys that are also in MasterChef and Private Chef, and then several of you guys are actually first-time attendees to this call, these webinars. I actually want to give a shout out to my friend Charles Flack, who is actually on the call now. If you guys have not heard of him, you will. Please Google the Virgin Olive Oiler whenever you have a chance. Most amazing store. That man knows more about olive oil and balsamic vinegars than you could ever imagine, and he works very well with chefs. We'll actually ship all over the country, so wanted to give a little plug for Charles. But let me tell you about eChef Club. So eChef Club is exactly that roadmap. It is a place for chefs so that they do not have to be alone anymore. Candace, can you go back to the previous slide, please? There you go. eChef Club, you get monthly happy hour Q&A calls with chefs all over the country. We also have a call once a month where we have leading industry experts talking about their business, teaching you how they grew theirs so that you can learn from them as well. We share resources all the time back and forth. Everything from contracts to pricing to what to do with difficult clients to how did you build your list to you name it. It is culinary professionals, whether you own a brick and mortar or you're in culinary or you have products on the shelf or you cook for clients. We all have resources to share. That also has to do with the networking to other chefs so that you don't have to be alone anymore as business owners. You will also get eChef tips. You get a tip a day in your inbox. They are way more than just tips. There are paragraphs of information and worksheets too that also help you build your business. You also get access to, and it's not a recipe co-op, it is actually a menu planning co-op for several of you guys that have to plan menus for your clients. and get stuck on menu planning, that's something that we just recently added, and you can plop your menus in there, and then other chefs plop their menus in there, from caterings to cooking classes to their regular personal chef clients, or even if you just need inspiration to cook for your family, your own family dinner. It's all in there. And then every call is recorded at all times, so you get access to all calls. Even if you can't make the calls, they are all recorded. So this is just an example when I was talking about those eChefs. This is just an example of what some of them look like. Now please keep in mind this is a short blurb. They are actually very much longer than this, but you can kind of see this is just one thing that you get in the program. The things that people like the most is the other thing that you get is actually inside of a private Facebook group where only people in eChef, MasterChef, and Private Chef. There's the exclusive Facebook group, Candace. I was one step ahead of Candace, so you get access to network with seasoned chefs. The good thing about this particular group is you will not see questions about where do I buy my first chef coat, or how do I get my first client. You will see in this group it's more for seasoned chefs of I have clients, how do I get more? I need help with writing my first ebook. I need to make money while I sleep, type of thing. So that's really what this is for, and it's really designed to help you accelerate your growth. Consistent tips and insight. These are just some of the people that we have interviewed in the past. We've interviewed Larry Lynch, Monica Thomas, as some of you guys know, and some of you may not know. There are other successful business owners, everything from chefs to other people that own brick and mortars to all kinds of successful business owners. And we all learn something from each one of them. So basically the choice is yours when it comes to what you want to do from this point forward. Basically you can do nothing and keep running your business like it is. If you are happy with the way that it is, then by all means do that. You can certainly take the time and the money to do all the research yourself, or you can invest in a program designed specifically for chefs that are just like you, who want to grow a profitable business. And let me add, kind of get out of your own way, network with other chefs, and pretty much stop spinning in circles. There is a special limited offer. So if you sign up today while we're on this call in the next 15 minutes, put the link in the chat section for you guys, so you can just click on that link and sign up. You get that today for $49 instead of the regular $69. You are welcome to cancel it at any time. So I really want this to benefit you guys. But the cool thing about signing up today, in the next 15 minutes before this, the question and answer period is over, you get a 1-hour strategy session with me that's worth $250 for 1 hour. We are going to go one-on-one into your business and pour into it, give you a plan for that will just accelerate your growth. I'm going to give you all the resources that I have in that particular hour to really set your foundation or skyrocket you where you need to be if you already have that strong foundation.
So some of the questions I saw were if people were going to get a recording of this webinar, and yes, we'll be sending out a recording tomorrow. You guys can pause and take notes. I know I gave a lot of information. So that'll be available to you at your leisure. You'll get a link to it and be able to view it any time and for however long you want.
Cool.
And I don't see any other questions, but we went ahead and put the link to purchase eChef Club if you guys feel like it's a good fit for you, if you're interested in joining, just in the chat box. If you go to the chat box right under handouts, it'll be there and there's a link.
And just one of the questions that I've had, in the past talking to some of the other chefs and culinary business owners, about a list is, they're often kind of leery of starting one. I know that you've given some successful tips and hints and things like that on, starting and why it's important to have a list. But if you had to tell people, and a lot of chefs are on the call are just not computer savvy, could you kind of give them like just the first couple of steps of what it would take to truly start that list? Do you see what I mean by that question?
Yeah. If you're just starting a list from scratch, I think definitely starting with just people you know, your own network, is a great way. It doesn't really require any technical skill. It's just people you know, and word of mouth is the best way anyway. And like I said, people know other people and they talk. So I would just add the people you know to your list first, and that's a great place to start. And just doing the events that you already do, like your cooking classes, tastings at food and wine festivals, you do those anyway, so why not just include a way to capture people's info while you're there? And that really requires no technical skill either. So those are some ways to kind of incorporate it with stuff you're already doing.
Guys, honestly, if you're looking at starting a list, if all you do is put the names in an Excel spreadsheet and you don't have to have, fancy, CRM systems or anything like that, just simply starting an Excel spreadsheet
Yes.
is you can easily, that once you decide that you want something a little bit more robust, like MailChimp, which is free, you can easily dump that Excel spreadsheet into MailChimp. And when we say your list is your gold, the thing about it is staying in front of your clients constantly. And Candace talks about you talk to them because you have a reason to. Staying in front of them really keeps you top of mind with them, because we are all really busy and we forget. We even forget sometimes the businesses that some of our friends have and that we could reach out to them. But the thing about it is when you constantly, or not constantly, when you consistently send your clients really valuable information, what happens is they start to remember you and you become an expert in that particular field. So you keeping up with everyone's email addresses, and even if you can get their address and phone numbers and everything like that, means that whenever you meet more clients, you have people that you've already been talking to and nurturing that actually want to hear from you, that are actually willing to help you in business.
Yes, and if you start out with a simple Excel sheet, something I suggest, besides just a name and email, is where you got their contact. Did you meet them at an event you went to? Write down what that event was, because then you'll be able to look at that Excel sheet and see where you're getting your most contacts from, what events and what things are working for you that's helping you build your list. So definitely keep track of that as best as you can.
Yeah, and what Candace is actually referring to also is there's a concept for you guys that already have a list called segmenting your list, so that you guys will actually be able to talk to like your catering clients differently than your personal chef clients, because those are two very different clients. Or maybe you have cooking classes that you do, but you have one that you do on a plant-based diet and maybe one that you do for children. You would actually talk to those people very differently. And like I said, I mentioned even Charles is on the call, that owns the olive oil and balsamic vinegar store. He segmenting his list is going to become super important, because maybe he has clients that only buy high-end olive oils, and then he has some clients that kind of come in and buy some of the lower cost, not necessarily lower end, but the lower cost, kind of what you call maintenance olive oils. He would want to talk to them very differently than he would to the entire group. So I want you guys to kind of understand, if you already have a list, to think about how you would really segment and talk to those people individually. And guys, I want to remind you we only have just a few more minutes, so if you guys want to sign up for eChef Club and take advantage of that bonus 1 hour, to please click on that link in the chat section, and we'll get you all signed up for that. And remember, you can cancel it anytime. So go ahead, Candace. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to join us on this call, and I hope you guys learned something.
And guys, we're going to keep that link active for about 15 more minutes, even when we hang up after this call. So if you guys want to copy and paste that particular link into your browser, you can have it. We didn't have quite as many questions on this particular webinar like always do. We hope that we didn't confuse you to death. We hope that we delivered really valuable information for you guys. Certainly, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, you are welcome to email us, and you can contact me at deb@chefdeb.com, and I'm happy to answer questions for you guys about anything that you may need. You can put that in the chat section so that people can see that. There you go. More information too, if you guys also want to check out the pop-up that Candace spoke about earlier, you guys can go to chefdeb.com, and we also have another pop-up for an opt-in on thesavorchef.com, and Candace is putting both of those in the chat section as well for you guys. So we will talk to you guys soon, and I see several of you guys. It looks like I will be doing 1 hour strategy sessions with you guys, so thank you so much. And guys, we're going to close down the call, and you guys will be receiving this recording as well, and you guys have a great evening.